People, it is Wednesday. Yesterday was chemo, and life is pretty normal and standard. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. You may be wondering if life ever feels normal again once you've been diagnosed with any kind of cancer. But as a woman who may or may not be taking care of a family, or even taking care of yourself, you pretty much have to run the whole show with no support. Or if you're a single parent, whatever your situation is, you probably wonder when you've been diagnosed, does everything, anything, anytime ever feel normal again? And I want to tell you that the answer is no. You will never feel like you did before you were diagnosed with cancer. Once you've been diagnosed with cancer, that you will reach a point in your cancer treatment where you've accepted the fact that it's lifelong and long-term and continuously changing and growing. And in my case, I did go off of chemo for 6 weeks and take a cancer break during a short remission that lasted only 6 weeks. And because it only lasted 6 weeks, we realized that my cancer is really pretty aggressive, and I can't afford to go off chemotherapy for really any length of time. So cancer treatment breaks are not an option for me. I have gotten to a place, it's been 2 years and March, April, May, June, July. So 2 years and 5 months since my diagnosis. And having had been diagnosed with possible lupus, or what's the other thing, fibromyalgia, that had been going on for 2 years prior to my actual diagnosis, I probably had cancer a little bit longer than I realized. But since the point of knowing and being in treatment, my life has gotten into a routine. Tuesdays are treatments. I try to run laundry and do major things on Monday, like massive grocery shopping, so that I don't have to do it on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday when I'm feeling pretty and low energy. I still push myself every day to do things. So I've gotten into a routine, and there is normalcy within the cancer diagnosis. I read blogs of other people who live their lives with what I also suffer with. Well, not suffer, but live with. And I see people who have lived to the 10-year mark, which is super encouraging to me, because they said I had 1 year to 5 years when I was first diagnosed, and I've been here for 2 years and 5 months, and I'm only on my first drug regime. So, I've got like 10 more to work through, and that's pretty encouraging. Let me tell you what I've noticed about the people who have made really long, who have beat the odds and lived to that 10-year mark, 9-year mark, 8-year mark, whatever. The things that I see in their lives that I want to, mimic are they're involved in their church communities. They have deep faith, whether they're Jewish or completed Jew, or a Christian, or a denomination of Christianity. I see that the people who are long-term survivors, they journal and blog about being active in their church communities, being plugged into support groups. They're very, very active and aware and knowledgeable about their treatment and they have spouses who stood by them, and they work on their marriages. So those are the things that I see, that I think that I need in my life, that I work on having in my life, because faith and community and knowledge, keeping yourself aware of what's going on in the cancer treatment world, those are all things that these people have and do, and they're lasting. So that gives me hope, and I want to give you hope. So let me encourage you, if you're not plugged into a church of some form, if you were raised in a faith that you've gotten away from, you may want to revisit it or find a community that works for you. Stay aware of what's happening in the cancer treatment world that affects your diagnosis. Work on your marriage or your relationships. There sometimes has to be relationships that you let go of in your life because they're toxic. You will notice that friends that you've known your whole life are just sort of acquaintances now, or they just completely fade away. People can't handle what you're going through, so they drift away from you. You will know who your true friends are, and you will know who the posers were. It is sad, but you're gonna be so busy dealing with what's going on with yourself that you won't grieve for the lost friendships for long. And I just encourage you to keep in touch with the people who are true friends, and I encourage you to know that you can reach some form of normal, that having cancer becomes a routine. And the way that I think about it, that my husband has worded it, is people live with diabetes, they take shots every day, they're in danger of really debilitating and horrible things happening to them, like, getting gangrene in their feet, or liver damage, or kidney damage. It's a constant balance, it's a constant fight, and they have to live with it every day. Now, I'm not in any way diminishing cancer. I have cancer, but if you look at it in that light, that it's something we as cancer patients live with every single day, it's a health problem, not a death sentence. I will not accept that I am dying until the day I am in the hospital and all of my body is shutting down. I could very easily get hit by a bus tomorrow, or shot by a drug dealer, or my head could explode because I just don't understand something. Anything can happen. Cancer may not, probably won't be the thing that takes my life. So I focus on the positive and think about all of the other things that are out there that people live with. And that really helps. I want to mention a couple of blogs, as I did in my previous post. I mentioned Donna Peach, who recently passed away. Please look at her archives. She's a wealth of knowledge, sadly missed, and a very long-time survivor of what we have, metastatic breast cancer. I also would like to point out Jill from Dances with Cancer, and a really young cancer survivor who has 2 forms of cancer, neuroblastoma and I believe leukemia, and her name is Talia Joy 18. You can find her on YouTube, you can find her on Facebook. Her Facebook blog is The Real Talia Joy 18, and she's amazing, joyful, just full of enthusiasm for life. And she's been struggling with her types of cancer most of her life. And she's 14 or 15 years old. So please check out those blogs and websites. And thank you so much for stopping by Leslie's Cancer Confessions. Really want to encourage you to accept what you are going through as just a part of your life, and don't think of it as a death sentence. Again, thank you for stopping by. Bye, people.